guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin and today's video is my monthly September palette ranking. So in this video I'm going to be ranking all of the palettes I used in the month of September from my least favorite to my most favorite. This is just a great way for me to compare the new releases and things that have just come to my collection with the older things and see how they stack up and whether like the new stuff is good as the old stuff, or maybe you don't need it. Maybe it will help inspire you to shop your stash. So with that said, let's go ahead and get into the video. Before we get too far into the video, if you have not already, I would love it if you would consider subscribing. I upload videos twice a week. It's totally free to subscribe. And I would love to have you back again on the channel. I love chatting with you guys in the comments. Alright, let's go ahead and get into the video. I have, I believe, 12 palettes that I tried this month, and I don't dislike any of these palettes. In fact, the thing I ranked at the bottom, I actually quite like. So it's not that any of these in this particular month are bad. They're just things I liked more than others, and I'll kind of explain why. So in the bottom is the ColourPop Troublemaker palette. And I really love this one. I love how cool toned it is. It's probably the most cool toned palette I have in my entire collection. This is really nice for an everyday palette, in my opinion. I've worn this to work a lot of times. The only reason really it's so far down is because there's nothing special, in my opinion, about this formula. There's no shifty shades. There's no like ultra creamy, rich, pigmented mattes. Like, it's just your average run-of-the-mill, like, good but fine palette. So it's more of a good but like not knock my socks off, right? Which that's a good place to start at the bottom, but that's just how this month stacked up. Number 11 from Saints, Angels, Sinners is the Xanadu palette. This one, in my opinion, it does have a better formula than ColourPop. Like, the shimmers are on another level than ColourPop. I would say the mattes are, in my opinion, like on par with ColourPop. I really like this color story. I'm keeping the plastic on because I do have one shade here in mind that I've broken with my carelessness. But this one, yeah, it is really nice. I like the color story better than the ColourPop one. But everything else from here just had a little something that made it just, I don't know, grab my interest more. And sometimes it's just, you know, there's not a rhyme or reason all the time. It's just your mood and what you're feeling. And my mood and my feeling told me to pull for this palette. Now this is the next one. This is from Melt. This is the Vita palette. I don't hear people talk about this one a lot. You hear Muerte all over the place, but not too much about Vita. It's sister palettes. So I pulled this one because I was feeling autumn vibes, right? I did something that was very like red and orange and brown. It was a fall leaf fantasy on my eyes, and actually I had a lot of my students when I wore it to school compliment me on this one, especially if you use a glitter primer with these shimmers. There's only 2 shimmers in here. It was a really nice look. I was shocked, like, wait a minute, this isn't just an okay palette. This one, wait, this one's actually good. I like this one. It was almost a shock to me. So yeah, don't forget about that one. It is a decent palette. Also, side note, have you seen them sneaking Halloween Town and Jack Skellington on their Instagram page? I'm sorry, Nightmare Before Christmas, do you know who I am? Obviously, I'm going to have that, right? Let me know if you are interested in picking up the latest Melt release that's coming for Halloween this year. Next up is the Milan Road Doodles by the Bunny palette. I don't know if you can get this anymore because they are closing shop. I did a video with multiple looks with this one. I will leave that linked, and for any of these palettes that I've got videos of me doing looks and things that you can see the palette more like in action and not just me holding them up for you, I will leave them linked in the cards or in the description down below if we run out of room. Here is this one. I really liked the unique undertones of this one. Like, I don't think I have another blue with this specific undertone. That was really unusual. And then this one too, this kind of mint color. Those were just, I don't know how else to say it. They were unusual. I don't find I see a lot of things with those undertones. And it was really nice, both matte and shimmer formula. Just nice, standard, reliable. The only thing I didn't like about this one is if you don't use glitter primer, you will have sparkle like all the way down intensely. So I really think you need to use glitter primer or like wet your brush or something to avoid that on this one. Or of course just do your eyes first and your base second. I like to do my base first, so that might be more of a me problem than a you problem. Next up is the Gourmand Girls and Doodles by the Bunny collab, the Spooked palette. This one is coming up on its 1-year anniversary, and they are going to be restocking it. So if you missed out, you will be able to grab this one again. I think they're putting it on pre-order. So if you want it, you're gonna have to do the pre-order. I've used this one a lot recently, actually. I've used this on a couple of my friends when I've been doing their makeup, because there is some really nice neutrals as bases, and there's a white that's really nice for an inner corner, a black to deepen up. So colorful shades aside, it's really nice. And they've got like a gold too. Like you can create a really neutral look with this, surprisingly. So I've been using this one, like I said, a lot lately. And I combined this palette with my #1 palette this month in a look, and I think it's my favorite look I've done all month. I'll show you what when we get to the end I paired with that. But yeah, that one was great. I think the only thing that put that one where it was and not any higher is the rest of them just have either something shifty or sparkly like more than that one did. So the next one is a new one to my collection this month, and this is the Ensley Rain Cosmetics Flower Moon. This one was really fun to play with. I have some looks of this one up too. Here it is, super shifty. I'm also excited for their upcoming release. This one I had no problems with. Every single look was good. No complaints. Fun duochromes. There's nothing super multi-chrome. I don't know if they advertise any of these as multi versus duo. The price was a little lower, so I'm thinking they might be duos. Nothing wrong with it, perfectly fine. It's just a color story thing. Like, this is a lot of greens, which, trust me, I love green. Green and purple are my favorite 2 eyeshadow colors, but it's like the variety though, right? You could get shades of green. And there's definitely other stuff in here too, right? It's not just green. You could definitely go more neutral or even more like bluey purple, but it's a lot of green, right? Like every single one of the, like green the whole way. So maybe a slightly bigger amount of variety would have been good with that one, but great quality nonetheless. Next up is my Glaminatrix Cosmetics Nearly Natural palette. I've been using this one a lot too. Special occasions, I pull this one. I just used it in my recent Get Ready With Me for my brother and sister-in-law's baby shower. The sparkle on the shimmers on these is what makes this one so high to me. They are just ultra fine, packed with the glitzy mica that like your lids are a disco ball. It's amazing, but it's not pressed glitter, and that's what I want for my life when I'm doing something glam, is just like super sparkly, catches in the lights, especially because a lot of events have those like low lights that I feel like pick up on that sparkle even more. So nice. Next up, I have my other Ensley Rain Cosmetics palette, the Midwinter Dream. I did some looks with this just when I was doing the Flower Moon to kind of compare and remember, okay, wait, what's the product quality of this one like? Okay, let me compare it to the other one. This one does have a couple more like multi-special flipping shades. I know some of them just look like white to you, but they're not. They're shifty and they're very iridescent, which I love. And I think this kind of speaks to what I was talking about in the other one. This has a little more variety in my mind, right? There's orange, purple, pink, blue, deepening shades. And then even in the shimmers, we've got blue, green, peach, purple, green, browns, even like a kind of a berry pinky one. There's just, I think, more variety in this one. It's certainly a different color story, so some of it might just be the preference of like how deep, dark, or light do you want to be. But I'm really happy to have both of them. I feel like one really does speak to the fall season, plus their new release I think would be a really good companion to the Flower Moon. And Midwinter is just that, I think, more of a winter color story. So maybe you need them all. I don't know. That's totally up to you. I personally feel like I want them all. All right, we're down to the top 4. Next from Adept Cosmetics is the Seahorse palette. I did some looks with this one, and I was really happy with all of them. I wasn't disappointed at all with this. I thought everything turned out really, really great. The only reason I didn't rank this any higher is because it is, to me, a companion palette. It's not a standalone palette because there are no mattes. I personally like to have at least a matte in the crease and at least a matte to deepen out the outer corner with my shimmers at minimum. So I can't use it as a standalone for me personally, and that's why I didn't rank it higher, but the shifts are incredible on that one. Next up is from Kaleidos. Can't get this anymore. Club Nebula. Now you might be like, girl, this palette's like 2 years old. Why are you bringing this out? Number one, I have this, right? That's the point of this video, to use stuff in your collection, compare the old to the new. And also, secondly, the other reason is Angelica is doing another collab with Odin's Eye. So I was like, let me go back and remember the formula of this one, and I'll be doing the Hello palette too then in the early beginning part of October before my palettes shipped to me, because Odin's Eye takes forever and a day to ship anything to you. So I wanted to remind myself of what the formula was to do some comparisons here. And I'm going to keep the plastic on this one too, because she's also been a casualty and we have some cracked shades. This is what I'm wearing on my eyes today, actually, in case you're wondering. And today's the first day I've ever done a look with this and went, it's okay. The first time. And maybe it's just my studio lightings. Maybe I'll like it more in regular lighting, because sometimes that happens. It's just not as sparkly. It gets like washed out with these lights. But it's the first time I've felt kind of meh about this. I still ranked it super high though, because I love this and it is an incredible palette. And one meh use is not enough to tell me I'm over this palette yet. So I think I'm gonna have to use it again and also use the Hello palette so that I can get a better vibe before the Halloween ones come, to do some comparisons of some things for y'all. But if you have this, let me know. Are you still as in love with it as you were when it came out, or do you think other things have surpassed it by now? Because even like, I used this twice this month. I used this earlier in the month and I did a green look with Firefly and I still felt like, oh my gosh, this is still amazing. And then today I'm like, it's fine. I don't know. What happened? What happened? I can't rank it any lower because like, there's just sentimental things with this, and like this is, I don't know, like when my mind was opened up to like, oh my gosh, color, right? I had tried some indie brands like Unearthly before this, but this was the first time I got what I thought was a funky color story and realized how versatile they really can be. So I just still feel like it's ranked really high for me because of the color story and everything, even though the formula wasn't what I remembered. Like, I used glitter primer to make the shimmers pop more because I wasn't feeling like they were doing too much for me. I don't remember having to use glitter primer before with them. I don't think I did with Firefly earlier in the month. So I'm confused by that one. We're gonna have to revisit in October. In second place from Adept Cosmetics is the Plain Jane palette. I also used this recently on a friend when I was doing their makeup, and I used these two. They wanted something like neutral and burgundy, so I actually paired Spooked and this one for my friend and did like the burgundy from Spooked with these neutral shimmers, which it was really pretty. I'd never put those two palettes together before. But this is my one and done, quick, out the door, trusty old reliable. I love the squishy putty formula of the shimmers. I love that you don't need a glitter primer with it to show up. And in fact, my experience has been that you should not use a glitter primer with those because they actually crease more. They're emollient enough on their own. It's too much paired with a glitter primer. And that's just, oh my gosh, that palette. It's really up there with my favorite palettes in my entire collection. I don't think I've done a favorite in my entire collection palette video recently, but that would be in it if I did one. Let me know in the comments if you'd be interested in me making a video like that. Number one, my favorite palette this month is the Adept Cosmetics House of L palette. Now I know this one you can't get right now, but never say never, because they said that the Arrow inspired palette was going to be limited edition and you couldn't get it again either. And yet here they are about to restock it. So never say never. It could come back, right? If there's enough interest, I feel like almost anything can come back unless they just can't get the supplies to make it. So here it is, and I pulled this one out and was using it again because I'm in the middle of filming a video of my favorite multi-chromes in palettes in my entire collection, and Zor-El is one of those. You simply won't be able to see on camera its true beauty, but it has like green and orange and red. It's like black based. It is so cool. It's probably my favorite multi-chrome in my entire collection, and I paired this palette. This is the one I was talking about. My favorite look I did this month was pairing these two palettes together. I did some of the oranges and browns in here, and I used Zor-El on the outer corner of the look, at the outer corner of my eye, and then I put Pumpkin, which is kind of like this orangey greeny duochrome, on the inner portion. And because they both have a little bit of green flip in the shades, the combination was absolute dynamite. So it might be a long shot, but if you have both of these palettes, play with them together because it was amazing, guys. That's my favorite look I did this month. And that is it, you guys, for the palette ranking this month. Let me know what you think. What was your favorite this month? And I hope to see you again on the next one. Bye!